financial resolution. So many folks want to make that different jump. They want to make a career change. They want to start working out more. Maybe they need to get more organized. And I thought there's no better time to talk to Joanne with the Small Business Development Center of Illinois, SIUE, and East St. Louis in partnership with SBA. It's a really great organization. You guys have had a heck of a few years, especially this one, Joanne. It seems like a lot of great stuff happening from the Small Business Development Center.
Yes, sir. Thank you, CJ.
And take me through the year, if you could, in an overview. Was there some growth, some milestones hit?
Definitely. We had our 10th annual Metro East Startup Challenge, our business plan competition that we started in 2014. We have met with a lot of clients this year and have increased our outreach to the Latino and other underserved communities. So we are just really happy to help entrepreneurs and business owners alike. So it doesn't matter if you've been in business 20 years or one day, we're still here to help. And there's a lot of ways we can do that, from that business plan development, marketing strategy, social media, HR support, cash flow management, really anything that has to do with the daily operation.
Absolutely. And at this time in the year, do you guys does the group seem to get some more calls from folks that are really interested in really growing their business or getting ready to start that first chapter?
Yes, we are already hitting the ground running in 2024 with our, starting of small business workshops and a lot of other workshops and webinars. And this is the time of year that we come back from the holidays and really hit the ground running. We get a lot of people, like you said, looking at those, New Year's resolutions and wanting to start or grow their business. Or maybe it's kind of a hobby that they want to take to the next level. So it's an exciting part of the year, getting things rolling and really just building momentum.
Without a doubt. And whenever someone works with the Small Business Development Center, whenever they give you a call, what do those initial phone calls sound like? That's a question I don't think I've asked you yet.
Well, a lot of times it has to do with, how do I write that business plan? How do I register my business properly? And are there grants out there to start a business? So, we kind of debunk that myth. There are some grants available, but they are very specific. So we really just kind of help navigate all of those, funding and business plan development questions and help them through that process of, building that solid foundation for their business. Because it's, it's that start that really allows them to get that solid footing and hit the ground running and really be able to operate efficiently. So we really help lay that groundwork.
One, it's very important. You have to have a foundation in order to grow. And I think that's why, there's so many success stories that come out of the Small Business Development Center of the Metro East. And I really attribute that to your commitment and your team's commitment, really working hands-on with the individual and seeing their needs and seeing the options available and what's the next step on the ladder. I got a question about the younger generation. And in terms of business, we have some amazing business focus groups like the CEO programs, which I was a part of here when they first started in the RiverBend area in 2017. Have you seen more younger people getting into the mix and really getting excited about an opportunity to maybe have their own brand?
I would say we probably are starting to see more of the younger, seniors in high school or early college students really taking entrepreneurship to the next level. I think the CEO programs, which I've been involved with for, probably 7-8 years at least now, has really been instrumental in that process. And I just love seeing their creativity and their technical know-how. I mean, they are so savvy on social media, really getting the word out about their business and what they're doing. And they're very innovative. So, I love seeing that. And I think we have a great future in in entrepreneurship.
Absolutely. And Joanne, whenever we're talking about somebody, and let's just say I'm calling you, I have a t-shirt making business. We'll just come up with something here.
Hmm.
And, I don't have much of a budget. I just started out of my, my house, but I really think that people are noticing this. Whenever you start working with an entrepreneur of any age, of any business, what are some of the things that you look for if they're already established? Are there some baselines there that you can go off of after that?
Well, I guess I would say a lot of what we look at, if they've been operating for a little time, we just make sure all those boxes are checked with, the registration process. And, then we really kind of get into, are they doing the marketing efficiently? Are they keeping the books and doing the accounting? And, are there any legal issues that need to be addressed? And, we're not attorneys or accountants, but we can give them those professionals. So we just kind of help check those boxes because, we call it the BAIL team, BAIL, banker, accountant, insurance agent, lawyer. And then I always include, a mentor, advisor, like our office, and someone maybe even in your, specific industry. So just kind of checking those boxes and making sure they have those external relationships along with any support that they need on, a regular daily operational basis, like staffing, marketing, et cetera.
Absolutely. And I just think it's so crucial because what you just said about, getting the licensing and everything going, there's a good population from just my experience and a little bit of consulting I've done that it seems like we don't really know how that business licensor works. Well, I have my license here, but is it registered or, all of that fun stuff comes into play. And
Right.
I'm sure it's got to be interesting in your position going, oh, well, I've seen this countless times. We got to go this direction too. We already got one step. Now it's step two.
Right. It's, clear as mud for a lot of people. It's very challenging to navigate and understand, that process. So, we help make it easy. We, check all those boxes. Like I said, are you registered with the state? Are you an LLC? Are you selling a product, or do you have employees? Do we need to worry about the Department of Revenue? And then, even if you're home-based, we have those local, county, and city requirements.
Absolutely. And Joanne, I just think that we have such a resource here. And something you just said, too, that I wanted to piggyback off of was the BAIL team. And it's so
Yes.
important that you have those resources for the prospective business owner, entrepreneur available, because that seems like it's the hardest part of the journey is to make sure all the team's where it needs to be and that you have those resources whenever you need them and to keep you going each and every day of the work week and on the weekend.
Exactly, because, who are you going to call in the middle of the night when you have a problem? You need to know who those people are and that support team before the need arises. And again, it goes back to that foundation. If you don't have those foundational pieces in place, things are going to get challenging very quickly because you just don't have the right support around you. And, business owners get busy and, the daily grind is real and they forget a lot of times that, there's external support like our office and those other professionals that we talked about. So it's key to kind of get that relationship started initially from ground zero so that you have that person and resource to bounce ideas off of, let them know where your business is headed. I mean, you can't just talk to the banker when you need the loan. You need to be checking in and making sure that they know your plans and they can help you get to that point of, expansion financing that you need for a bigger facility or more equipment or to hire, whatever it might be. Or that attorney can be there when you need the contract to be reviewed for an independent contractor or a vendor, or maybe it's a lease agreement, whatever it might be. And, just your accountant to keep those books in order and make sure the taxes are done and everything's in compliance.
Without a doubt. And going back, Joanne, to the business plan opportunity campaign in the contest, were there some pretty good drafts submitted? You have some pretty promising finalists.
Definitely. We had a great competition this year and gearing up already for next year. We had probably, I think it was almost 40 applications, and then we narrowed it down to about 18, and then we had the final 12. So we're excited. We have some great businesses and a wide diversity. So we have some retail, we have wellness, and just a lot of great, promising entrepreneurs who really, took time to go through the process with our competition and learn how to not only pitch, but also, network and get that business plan in place and see all the important steps along the way.
100% over, Joanne. And I just going back to what you said, because you really hit all my boxes on this right in that first couple of minutes, and that's the diversity. And that's something that I think that it's really cool to hear that, because time and time again, I think sometimes we try to put our blinders up to things. And let's be honest, there are disparities in terms of business for minorities and for, people in certain locations geographically, regardless of color in those situations. So how important is it for you to, like you just said, with the Latino communities and a couple of different demos, that they're being included in this too, and that their message, their American dream, can be pursued?
Yeah, no, not only from our business plan competition perspective, because we do have a minority business prize, we have a rural business prize, we have a woman-owned business prize, but also, a lot of what I do on a daily basis, weekly basis, is networking and getting out to the chambers and other groups. I serve as co-chair of the Latino Roundtable here in Fairmont City and the surrounding area. I'm on a Black Business Task Force. So definitely getting out and being visible and meeting people where they are,
100%. And as we're wrapping up, we're already at 15 minutes, Joanne, and I can talk to you forever. And I know that you're busy getting back in and had a busy day, but I really just appreciate your time. And if you could break this down for maybe an elevator pitch, if someone's interested, because I think a lot of times, and you can attest to this more than anybody, that there's a lot of nerves with really making that first step in business, because there's so many questions. Am I going to be able to pay my bills? You name it. What's your thoughts to somebody that's really interested, but is just kind of, getting held back by that, that concern and those cautions?
I would say take the first step. Entrepreneurship is risky. Owning your own business is definitely challenging, but there's a lot of reward. And you're already taking the first step by, having this dream and, the passion. So take the next step, attend our workshops and sit down with us. And it's a relationship. We're not going to meet with you just one time. We can meet as often as needed and as regularly as you'd like, so that we can support you through the entire process, answer questions, and get you to that next step.
And I think that's really important too for the individual to know, Joanne, is the fact that you are there with them, every step of the way. And if they need you, you're there. And to have a resource like this really in our area, in terms of whenever you hear the word innovation and all these great things, to have someone like the Small Business Development Center just there for the people, I think it's really, really something that's honestly invaluable, because it spurs so much growth and so much potential for our region. And
Definitely.
And Joanne, before I let you go, what's the phone number if somebody right now on this first day of 2024 is saying, you know what, I need to? What's the number to call, and how can they get connected?
The number is 618-650-2929, or you can email sbdcedw@gmail.com, or you can email me directly, gdimage@siue.edu. That's GDIMAGG at siue.edu, and we will schedule an appointment and get you on our calendar.
Absolutely. And Joanne, thank you so much for your time. I know that you were busy, but to have your insights as we start the new year off on the right foot, I really appreciate it.
Anytime. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
We'll take a brief pause here. This first day of January rolls on right around the corner after this in the heart of the 618.